Hello everyone, this is Ronan Blue, and for those that don't know me, this channel is all about how my girlfriend and I started our financially independent debt-free journey since paying off our mortgage. With my newfound freedom, I talk about how we made it happen, the forms of passive income we have, our thoughts of early retirement overseas, and general financial topics. Today's topic is on 8 best reasons to retire early in Mexico. Stick around to the end of the video to see whether you'd like to retire here. Ever since hitting financial independence at an early age, we've thought about moving abroad for some new adventures. Mexico has come onto our plate, being one of the most popular places to retire for North Americans. With its beaches and its diverse landscape of mountains, deserts, and jungles, ancient ruins such as Teotihuacan and the Mayan city of Chichen Itza are scattered throughout the country, as are Spanish colonial-era towns. So important are Mexico's ancient Aztec and Mayan sites in historical colonial cities that many have been designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, ensuring they'll remain unchanged for generations to come. Topping the whole experience is the country's rich culture, a fascinating mix of native people, as well as colonial influences from Spain that shows up in everything from vibrant music and dance traditions. Here are 8 reasons to retire early in Mexico. Number 1. Culture. Clay pottery, embroidered cotton garments, wool shawls, and outer garments with angular designs, colorful baskets, and rugs are some of the common items associated with Mexican folk art in their culture. You'll learn how to retire in Mexico by seeing how the Mexicans enjoy life. Although they don't have a lot and don't spend a lot, you'll like them immensely. It's been compared to how living in the United States was like 50 years ago, where there were still strong family values, which is the centerpiece of Mexican life. Speaking Spanish is not necessary in Mexico, but in a lot of the countries in Latin America I did research on previously, here in my retirement playlist, mentioned that English was hardly spoken and that having to speak and understand it would be a definite plus. Many Mexicans speak English dependent on location, mostly in the touristy areas, and are used to North Americans. There are also a lot of Americans in Mexico as well, with its large American expat population, so you'll never have a shortage of who to talk with. But outside of the tourist areas in Mexico, they speak less English, but if you do happen to speak Spanish, you will not be limited in your choice of location and how much you spend. It seems to be easy to make friends in Mexico, both with expats and local people, who are genuinely warm and friendly. Number 2. Places to live in Mexico. This big, diverse country offers dozens of great living options, from colorful and historic colonial cities like San Miguel de Allende, Cuernavaca, Guanajuato, Oaxaca, to beach towns like Playa del Carmen and Tulum in the Caribbean coast, and Puerto Vallarta and Bayzita on the Pacific coast. I apologize for my pronunciation. All year round, with spring-like temperatures, you can enjoy art, culture in many of Mexico's colonial cities. Miguel de Allende is a very popular spot for frugal retirees. It's a colonial-era city in Mexico's central highlands and is known for its Spanish architecture, thriving art scene, and cultural festivals. This is a charming, lively place to possibly live. There is also Sayulita, a beachside town that's 35 minutes drive from Puerto Vallarta. This small town is known for its relaxed hippiness, a rich artisan culture, and a town square that is easily walkable. If you don't want to choose between living in a city and living at the beach, in Mazatlan you don't have to. Mazatlan has the right activity for you. The beauty of its natural attractions, its beaches, rich in marine fauna, the architecture, and the nightlife will make of it one of your favorite places to live. La Bahia de Navidad is an affordable small-town version of an upscale Puerto Vallarta, 4 hours to the north. With a Mexican population of just a few thousand friendly folks, the 500 or so full-time expats integrate easily into the 2 main towns of the bay. It depends on where you want to retire. The tourist towns, Puerto Vallarta, Acapulco, Cancun, are going to be the most expensive. Number 3. Food in Mexico. Before I begin this, I'd like to apologize for the pronunciation of the foods. I have the names of the foods mentioned, however. Because of the affordability of food in Mexico, some expats have mentioned that they eat 75 to 80 times a year. It ranges from a casual setting of $5 a meal to a fancy meal of dinner for 2, with a bottle of wine for $40 to $50. Chilaquiles is a popular traditional breakfast dish, features light fried corn tortillas, scrambled or fried eggs, and pulled chicken are usually added on top, as well as cheese and cream. Tacos al pastor. This historic dish is one of the most popular varieties of tacos, with origins dating back to the 1920s and 1930s. Tostadas are a simple but delicious dish, involving corn tortillas fried in boiling oil until they become crunchy and golden. Elote, corn on a cob. This is all over the streets and for good reason, very delicious. The corn is traditionally boiled and served either on a stick, salt, chili powder, lime, butter, cheese, mayonnaise, and sour cream are all added in abundance. Enchiladas. Enchiladas are from Mayan times. They are corn tortillas wrapped around small fish, meat, cheese, seafood, beans, and vegetables. Moru. A rich sauce popular in Mexican cooking. It contains around 20 or so ingredients, including one or more varieties of chili peppers, and all require constant stirring over a long period of time. Guacamole. Guacamole is probably Mexico's most popular dishes. Its traditional sauce dates back to the times of the Aztecs. Made from mushed up avocados, onions, tomatoes, lemon juice, and chili peppers, and sometimes a clove or two of garlic. Guacamole is often eaten with tortilla chips or used as a side dish. Tamales. Tamales were made from the Aztec, Mayan, and Inca tribes who needed nourishing food on the go to take into battle. Pockets of corn dough stuffed with either a sweet and savory filling, wrapped in banana leaves, or corn husks and steamed. Fillings vary from meats and cheeses to fruits, vegetables, chilies, and mole. Well, that's it for food. I'm pretty hungry now. Hang in there, we are halfway there. Check out some other great points coming now. Number 4, entertainment. There are tons of things to do in Mexico, in North America's playground. There's swimming, snorkeling, turtles, dolphins, and sharks, maybe. There are so many ranges of marine-based things to do in Mexico. The Mayan Riviera is the second largest barrier reef in the world, with tons of fish, corals, and sea creatures. You can also visit the temples. Going through the dense rainforest is one of the world's most innovative civilizations. Perhaps the best of the Mayan ruins is Chichén Itzá, once the Mayan capital, and now almost fully restored. You can explore the other temples, passages, and column arcades, and even sacrificial cenotes, and get a glimpse of their pasts. Beyond the beaches, the sea, and the crumbling remains of the ancient culture, you'll find Mexico has a vibrant party scene. If your idea of a break involves kicking up your heels into the early hours, head to Cancun or Playa del Carmen. But probably the most popular thing to do in Mexico is just to hang out on any palm-fringed beach and listen to the sound of the sea while lying down under the shade in the warm subtropical sunshine. I definitely can't mention everything here, but you'll find a lot of resources on things to do in Mexico. Number 5, cost of living. You can live in Mexico with about $1,600 a month, even with a mix of eating out at restaurants at least 3 times a week. There is safety, its medical benefits, and its easygoing culture. The average Mexican family actually lives on about $500 a month or less with large families. If you choose to do so, you can also live this lifestyle as well. I'm just saying it's possible. Rent, $500 furnished home, some with all bills included, such as water, condo fees for gardens, and garbage collection. Utilities, $100 per month. Electricity, $30 to $40 a month. Gas tank for cooking, $10. Internet, around $30. Phone, $10 to $20. Don't need heating because of the climate. If you do, you can get wood. Food, $100 for one person. Street food for $2 a meal. Local fruits, vegetables, and meat are cheap. Imported products are pricey. Travel, $300. You can fly to most US cities for under $500. $200 is a reasonable amount to explore the country. You can travel well on $50 a day per person. Staff, a housekeeper charges around $10 a day. You can also get a nurse for under $40 a day, a popular reason why retirement is an option. Transportation, $50. This would be travel costs around the country. You don't need a car. Entertainment, $50. This depends on what your hobbies would be in general, but it's around this price. To live in the touristy areas in Mexico, it would be about $25,000 to $30,000 per single, or $30,000 to $40,000 for a couple per year in most places. It is still possible to live on $12,000 to $15,000 single, or $16,000 to $22,000 as a couple, or even less if you are really frugal. Number 6, rent or buy. If it's the beach lifestyle you're looking for and could afford it, you can get a house right next to the beach, or even a bit cheaper by buying a street or two back. Property markets in many areas of Mexico are down. The Great Recession, especially in the areas popular as second home markets among Americans, have gone down significantly. There are a lot of places that have still not fully recovered, and buyers are taking advantage. Rentals are inexpensive, as mentioned previously. It's highly advised that you do rent first before making any permanent decision. There are stories of people buying property only to sell it again after a few years because they get bored. Number 7, healthcare. The quality of medical care in Mexico is pretty much the same as in North America, except routine medical care, specialist services, and medication costs are way less in Mexico. This is one main reason why expats choose to live in Mexico. They look abroad for the treatments and care they need, and Mexico's geographical closeness is as attractive. The healthcare costs could be bought by expats for around $270 per year per person as well. The costs of healthcare vary by physician, hospital, and your condition. On average, an office visit with a doctor would be about $30 to $43. Doctors in Mexico also make house calls, as well as for the same price. Lab tests cost about a third of the US. A CAT scan often costs about 25% of what it does in the US. An overnight stay in a private hospital room generally costs less than $100. A visit to the dentist for teeth cleaning costs about $28. The waiting periods in North America at times will require you to wait weeks or even months for some procedures. In Mexico, it usually only takes a few days. You always also have the option of returning to the US to use Medicare, if you wanted to as well. Medicare doesn't cross any border and stays in the US. Number 8, requirements to move to Mexico. Here are the requirements. However, keep in mind that the amounts obviously do fluctuate based on exchange rates. For a temporary visa, you must show a monthly income of about $1,220 USD per month. The income proof would come from 6 months of bank statements. Those of you who have liquid assets may qualify if you have maintained an average balance of $19,300 USD per year. This is based on 12 months of bank statements. For a permanent visa, you must show a monthly income of $2,500 USD monthly, documented with 6 months of bank statements. But if you have liquid assets, you may qualify by showing that you have maintained an average balance of $95,000 USD annually. Liquid assets must be documented with 12 months of bank statements. You can apply for visas for your spouse and children at a consulate at the same time or when in Mexico. You will also need a birth certificate and marriage certificate. You'll also need apostilles, which are legalized copies for those from Canada. Each consulate may have their own special rules. Processing time varies from a few hours to a few days on average. Mexico has a lot to offer. Families are close and stay in touch. The food is amazing. You'll find delicious food everywhere with fresh fruit all year round. Life is laid back and the clock seems to run slower, and there's always time for things you want to do. There are street markets, you could find anything and everything that is affordable than a chain store. You can shop, eat, and hang out. The culture and history are always interesting temples and buildings with a legend behind them. Everything has an interesting past in Mexico. It pretty much has everything in it. There are mountains, glaciers, forests, deserts, jungles, beaches, any kind of place you'll want to visit. You don't really need to travel outside of Mexico. There's so much to explore. Life seems to be really exciting in Mexico. Anything is possible. It could be a quiet afternoon at one time, then it becomes a fiesta. It could turn into a romantic evening as well. There's also always something to celebrate every month because there's a celebration. Life just seems a lot happier in Mexico. Mexicans prioritize such things as love and family. Although everything seems fabulous, it seems to be more expensive than some of the previous countries I've done research on so far here. But it's definitely one of the spots we are interested in retiring early to. Well, tell me what you think of retiring early in Mexico in the comments below. Would you want to? If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for my further content. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great day and see you soon.